In this cookie series, I'm making this divine, foolproof Dutch chocolate cracked cookies. The ingredients are super simple. You probably have them in the fridge. This is the measuring cup I use. I use them in ounces. First up, we're gonna need 5 ounces of dark chocolate, 7 ounces of sugar, 8 tablespoons of butter. The stick is usually measured already as 8, 3 ounces of milk, 2 eggs, 2 ounces of cacao powder, or equivalent to 4 tablespoons. And don't worry if it's a little bit mushy, it has little bigger pieces in it. 2 cups and 3/4 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Super easy ingredients. And first thing is that we need to melt the chocolate, which I have a saucepan that I put a little bit of water in it, and this amazing chocolate heater. I don't know what's it called, but it's so useful if you work with chocolate because you have to like melt the chocolate, and this way it's gonna melt. It's super easy. Chocolate and butter together on low heat. In my mixing bowl, I'm mixing the sugar and egg together until it's creamy and everything is combined. Always add the eggs in a separate bowl before adding it into your mixture to make sure the egg is still fresh, because this one time I did not do this and my egg has gone bad and I had to restart the whole batch. This is slowly melting, slowly coming together. I like to use a spoon, silicone spatula, to mix this all together. Silicone spoon, anything. Spatula means that inside of it there's a piece of metal, so it's not as bendy as a regular silicone spoon. Mixing my dry ingredients, the flour, the pinch of salt, and cacao powder, and the baking soda. I like to sprinkle it all over, not just in one place. And for me, the best result to combine everything is using a whisker or even a fork, not a spoon, because with this everything will go through the little holes and everything is nicely combined. Don't worry about the clumps. We're gonna use a sifter to add it into the batter, which is this one. This one's upside down. There's also the ones that you use for like the handle. You just like push on the handle. I prefer this one, less painful. Chocolate is nicely melting. I turned off the heat and took it off the heat, because even if you turn off the heat and leave it on, it was still warming it up. And I want the chocolate to be like room temperature, so not too hot. Into my egg mixture, I added the vanilla extract, started beating it again. And now slowly gonna add my chocolate, which is like kind of room temperature, so it's not hot, so you can put your finger in it and it doesn't feel hot. It's just like slightly warm. Adding it slowly while it's whisking it together to make sure it doesn't cook the eggs, because the eggs are gonna be cooked if you add hot chocolate to it. So I'm just slowly mixing it all together. See, like you don't even have to put any elbow grease in it. The machine does all the work. I'm gonna start adding the flour and the milk in 3 batches, so not everything at the same time, so you can nicely combine everything. If you were to add all the flour in together and mix, it would blow the flour all over the kitchen, which it did a little bit, but not too bad. So just gradually adding it in. I like to add it by 3 batches, starting with the low speed so it doesn't splash the flour everywhere, and then just repeat it over and over again. Now it pretty much turned out like a chocolate cake mixed chocolate brownie, super soft. And now that I found a basic recipe, I can recreate the same thing with other flavors, like maybe some filling like crushed roasted hazelnuts. So yeah, definitely gonna try that, and some liquors to it and some other flavoring. I just need to find something that works, like the basic recipe that works. This is done. I'm gonna transfer it into another bowl, which is where I had the flour and chocolate mixed in together. I'm gonna put this in here and cover it with a plastic sandwich wrapper and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes, an hour, depending on how strong your fridge is, how cold it is. We want this to be firm, almost like a fudge firm. That way it'll be easy to work with it and make the balls, because right now it's a little bit too sticky. So there it is, into the fridge. Done with the fridge. About 35 minutes later. My fridge is really cold right now. See how it's like more firm? Here are my little working station that I'm gonna need. I have this little meat, I don't know, it's meat, I use it for meatballs, but it's like an ice cream scooper that's a lot smaller than a regular ice cream scooper. So I just make a little ball with it and then roll it around in sugar, regular sugar, and then powdered sugar. Now when this bakes and it cracks, when you bite into it, that sugar, not the powdered sugar, the regular sugar, will basically like caramelize and give it a crunchy texture on the outside and soft cake-like on the inside. I spreaded them about 1.5 inches apart, and I'm adding a little bit of extra powdered sugar to give it a nice contrast, because I do see some patches on the side. This way everything will be kind of like even. And my oven was preheated to 350, and this is my leftover for the second batch. And I baked it for 18 minutes exactly. I always go for 15 and then check with the toothpick if it's still like wet on the inside, and 18 minutes was perfect. Look at that, perfectly baked. It's still like soft on the inside, but not exactly like brownie soft, like not like chewy soft, but still soft, like almost cakey like. It is absolutely perfect. Like the recipe was so easy and it works. You have to try it.